Some places never escape their dark past, where eerie whispers echo through empty halls and shadowy figures linger just out of sight. In continuation of our previous video, we uncover 5 more terrifying, haunted locations in the USA, each with a history that still sends shivers down the spine. Number 1. The Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. Constructed in 1926, the Waverly Hills Sanatorium was originally designed as a tuberculosis hospital. It became a symbol of death and despair, housing thousands of tuberculosis patients who perished from the disease. The dark history of suffering and death that plagued the hospital has left its mark, making it one of the most haunted places in the United States. The widespread death and isolation of patients from their families have left an undeniable mark on the building's energy. The hospital's dark, lonely corridors and deaths in isolation created an unnatural energy that still lingers today. Many visitors and staff have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing screams echoing in the hallways. Investigators from Paranormal Research Society reported strange occurrences, including disembodied voices and sudden temperature drops. Celebrity ghost hunters, including Zach Bagans, have visited the site and encountered disturbing visions. Bagans reportedly saw a shadowy figure near the death chute, which led to an increase in paranormal activity during their visit. Visitors often hear disembodied voices, feel an overwhelming sense of sadness, and experience ghostly apparitions. One visitor shared, "I heard footsteps behind me, but when I turned, no one was there. It was as if the walls themselves were alive with the memories of those who had died." Number 2, the Saddleback Butte, State Park, California. Nestled in the California desert, Saddleback Butte State Park is a remote and rugged area with a haunting past. Originally, the region was known for its dangerous wildlife and desolate beauty, but in more recent years, it gained infamy for the eerie tales of phantom hitchhikers that have been reported by travelers. For decades, stories have circulated about drivers who stopped to pick up unseen travelers, only for these passengers to disappear without a trace once they reach the park. While the park's landscape remains serene, its eerie atmosphere seems to be amplified by the desert isolation and strange occurrences that travelers cannot explain. The mystery surrounding the phantom hitchhikers is tied to the vast isolation of the park. In earlier times, many disappearances and tragic accidents occurred on the isolated stretch of Highway 138 that runs through the park. One popular theory suggests that the spirits of those lost travelers or those who met an untimely death in the area now wander the roads, waiting for someone to offer them a ride, only to vanish into thin air. Some believe that the desolation of the land and the sense of emptiness contributes to a lingering energy that attracts restless spirits. Local newspapers have reported several chilling encounters with ghostly hitchhikers, with multiple drivers sharing their experiences. One police report from 1984 detailed an officer's account of a woman in white seen by passing motorists on a stretch of road near the park. The officer reported approaching her, but by the time he stopped, the woman had vanished, and there was no sign of her anywhere nearby. Further investigations by paranormal teams have uncovered evidence of ghostly voices and footsteps on the road, despite there being no one in the vicinity. Visitors often share unsettling encounters with the phantom hitchhikers of Saddleback Butte. One motorist described picking up a young woman on a dark stretch of road. She sat silently, staring ahead, and when they reached the park, she suddenly disappeared in the blink of an eye. Others have felt the unmistakable presence of an unseen figure in the back seat, only for the figure to vanish when they turn around. There are reports of shivering cold air and a chill down the spine when driving through the park after sunset. often accompanied by a sudden feeling of being watched. Number 3. The Old Charleston Jail, Charleston, South Carolina. Built in 1802, the Old Charleston Jail housed some of the most notorious criminals of the time, including Lavina Fisher, the first woman to be executed in South Carolina. The jail was notorious for its inhumane conditions, with reports of abusive treatment, overcrowding, and disease running rampant. Over the years, the jail saw many deaths, not only from executions but also from natural causes and harsh living conditions. It continued to operate as a prison until 1939, after which it was abandoned. Now, the site is known for its dark energy, with paranormal activity believed to be tied to the souls of the criminals and mistreated prisoners. The Old Charleston Jail is believed to be haunted due to the violence, death, and injustice that occurred within its walls. Lavina Fisher, who was hanged for the murders of travelers she and her husband allegedly lured to their deaths, is said to still haunt the building. The spirits of former prisoners, many of whom died under brutal conditions, are also thought to be trapped in the jail, unable to escape the torturous memories of their time there. The jail's harsh and oppressive atmosphere likely fueled a spiritual energy that still lingers to this day. Newspapers from the 1800s documented the grim history of the jail, reporting numerous deaths, escapes, and eerie occurrences. One police report from 1905 notes that guards reported hearing strange sounds and seeing shadowy figures within the jail after hours. Paranormal investigators who visited the site in recent years have documented ghostly figures, EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, and even cold spots that appear out of nowhere, especially in the cells and the execution chamber. The Old Charleston Jail has been featured in several paranormal TV shows, including Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. One famous incident occurred when Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures entered the jail and was physically pushed by an unseen force. He was also captured on camera, experiencing severe cold spots and hearing distorted voices. Visitors like historian Mike Brown have also reported feelings of extreme unease, stating that he felt an overwhelming presence following him as he explored the building. Tourists often share terrifying accounts of strange occurrences within the jail. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures peering out from the barred windows and hearing the distinct sound of chains rattling in the dark. Some have even reported feeling cold hands touch them or unseen fingers brush against their skin. One visitor described an experience of being alone in one of the cells, only to hear someone whispering their name from behind the bars, even though the cell was empty. Number 4. The Biltmore Estate, Asheville, North Carolina. The Biltmore Estate was built in the 1890s by George Washington Vanderbilt Setting and is the largest privately owned home in the U.S., spanning 170,000 square feet. Known for its beauty and grandeur, the estate has long been associated with wealth and luxury. However, the Vanderbilt family's tragic history is closely tied to the haunting presence of the ghosts that seem to inhabit the estate. The family faced several untimely deaths, and some of these spirits are believed to still linger, forever attached to the mansion's luxurious walls. The Biltmore Estate is haunted by family members who are believed to have never fully left the grounds. The sudden deaths of key family figures, combined with the estate's incredibly opulent yet dark atmosphere, have likely left an energy that remains trapped within the home. Additionally, some believe that the mansion's remote location and the solitude of the surrounding landscape contributed to a sense of spiritual confinement, causing those who pass to remain tethered to the estate. There are several reports from visitors and staff regarding strange occurrences, including mysterious lights flickering in the windows of the mansion at night and cold spots in specific rooms. Local newspapers have detailed reports of ghostly sightings dating back to the 1920s. One article from 1927 mentions the unexplained noise of footsteps echoing through empty hallways. Paranormal investigations conducted in the 2000s also captured EVPs and shadowy figures on camera. George Washington Vanderbilt II himself is said to haunt the estate. Several paranormal teams, including taps from ghost hunters, have visited the estate. Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson have reported encountering ghostly figures near the estate's grand staircase, claiming to see the image of a woman in white walking along the balcony. Catherine Morris, a local historian, shared that she often feels cold air brush against her skin in the library, a room known for its historical significance. Tourists report a strange feeling of being watched when walking through the estate, particularly in the more isolated rooms like the library and the East Wing. One visitor recalled feeling as though someone had whispered their name while walking along the upstairs corridor. Another described seeing a shadowy figure standing at the top of the stairs before it suddenly vanished. Many guests have experienced a sudden sense of dread, accompanied by an overwhelming desire to leave the estate as quickly as possible. Number 5. The Myrtles Plantation, St. Francisville, Louisiana. Built in 1796, the Myrtles Plantation has been the site of countless tragedies and mysterious deaths. It is most famous for the legend of Chloe, a slave who allegedly poisoned the Bradford family, leading to the death of the children. However, her death, combined with the history of mistreatment and violent deaths, makes the plantation one of the most haunted places in America. The brutal treatment of the enslaved workers and the tragic fate of the Bradford family may have left behind strong spiritual energy. The house's violent history, coupled with the tragic demise of Chloe, created an unnatural energy that permeates the plantation grounds. It's said that the souls of the children who died continue to roam, unable to rest. Newspaper articles from the 1800s and early 1900s mention reports of odd occurrences and mysterious deaths at the plantation. One particularly chilling police report documented the disappearance of a former plantation worker whose ghost was said to be seen at the plantation in the years after his death. Marie Laveau, the famous voodoo queen of New Orleans, was rumored to have performed rituals at the plantation, though it is unverified. Famous paranormal investigator John Zaffis has conducted investigations at the plantation, describing the atmosphere as so thick with energy, you could almost feel it pulling you back. His team recorded multiple EVP recordings and witnessed a ghostly apparition near the garden. Visitors often hear children laughing, only to turn around and find no one. One guest described an unsettling experience. I felt like I was being watched the entire time. As I walked by the garden, I heard a soft whisper, and when I turned around, there was a figure in the mist, staring at me. These haunted places hold stories that refuse to be forgotten. Would you dare to explore them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a spine-chilling story.